Man, it hasn't been. I mean, we've done. This is our third stream, I think. This weekend,
Yeah,
Friday.
I'm getting tired of looking at your face.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, maybe you need to look at me from this side.
Yeah, that's better.
Does that look better?
Yeah.
So, anyway, yes. For those of you who don't know what Let It Out is or Comics Cast, hopefully you can check out our anniversary show, which we did yesterday, and Rick was sporting the bow tie, so he was making.
I was looking sharp.
Yes, he was making me and Joe look like, he called us hillbillies. So I told him I'm proud to be a hillbilly. But today is all about Comics Cast Let It Out. And for those of you who don't know, on this beautiful April 25th Sunday, Let It Out is all about drawing along with a featured guest, and that featured guest or guests. In this case, it is two guests. We have a writer-artist combo team, and basically we promote them. We want to draw along with them. We promote any and all independent creators in the comic book industry that we come across of, and these two individuals have been on the show before, and it was such a great experience. We had to have them back because they have a crowdfunding on Indiegogo that is going on right now, successfully funded because they are so awesome. But we're happy to feature them anyway because we want to get more eyes on them, and we want to make sure that our audience can get to see the tremendous talent and skills that go along with this particular independent campaign. So without further ado, well, actually, we're supposed to do our little shtick about shameless promotion about.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get. I know that I put you on the spot here. You can follow.
I'm already in there.
Oh, you are? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, then, by all means, pull up our YouTube page and let's share it with the masses, with the audience here. Yeah, because there it is. There it is. So you found us. If you found Comics Cast on Facebook, we are just Comics Cast. Make sure it's Comics plural Cast, and that's on Facebook. But if you want to find us on YouTube, because that's what we really want to push in 2021, you can go to Indie Comics Cast. So that's INDIE Comics Cast. And if Rick wants to mouse over how you can like and subscribe and follow us, that's where you go. And I'm so happy that Rick, that button is not red, because that means Rick is still like and following us. And you want to make sure you hit that bell, because that bell will allow you to get any notification of any new episodes that we're doing. And you can see from here, as Rick is scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, we've got a plethora. Yes, the word is plethora. A plethora of videos that you can check out, and includes all of our past Let It Out shows. That also includes the artist roundtables, the ART shows, and the newly minted show, courtesy of my compatriot, my partner in crime, and the ever. I don't know what I'm going to say. The kazoo playing.
The ever handsome, intelligent, and bright.
Yes, I won't say ever handsome. I'm just going to say
humble.
Oh yes, humble kazoo virtuoso. Rick debuted after our anniversary show his mentor block, which features the famous Robert Marzullo and one of our great supporters in our audience, Sarah Samba. She definitely has been a great supporter of the Let It Out shows, and I encourage you guys to check it out because it's a great interaction by, like I said, Robert Marzullo. If you guys, if you do any kind of comic work, or if you've done anything on Facebook, you've heard of Robert Marzullo, and he is a tremendous mentor. Tremendous artist in his own right, and he was able to partake or to share his knowledge with a budding artist as well. And Sarah is a tremendous talent as well. So I think I've said tremendous so many times.
Look who's commenting.
Oh,
Dojo Comics.
Yes, I think he kind of like stole our thunder. So let's move from the shameless self promotion to getting our guest in here. So I will do the drum roll, and you let them in. All right, so here we go.
Hey.
Yes.
Hey guys.
Hey Brian. Hey Zilson. It's like deja vu with Brian from Dojo Comics, because he was one of our featured guests on our retrospect anniversary show, and we're so thrilled to have you back. And of course, Zilson all the way from Brazil. who was on our show before, because we had Brian and him and the rest of the Dojo Kun crew talking about another crowdfunding opportunity or another independent project that they were doing. But they are here today to talk about a project that they're both working on right now, which is the Siamese Trade Paperback. And we're going to get into the nuts and bolts about that because you know what? It's funded, baby. It's ready to go. I think, Brian, we talked a lot, since I got to meet you, and we talked about, all these, all this knowledge and ideas and just things back and forth in terms of how to do, this Siamese crowdfunding project. And you know what? You took all that information, all that knowledge, and distilled it down, put the Dojo Kun stamp on it. And what was it? Was it funded in like a day or 2 days?
In 3 days.
In 3 days.
Yes.
So Brian is definitely a very learned student of just seeing what everybody is doing, and he was able to take all that. And Siamese, the trade paperback, is good to go. But we're going to get into that a little bit later. I want everybody to note the scrolling ticker at the bottom. I think Rick later on is going to post some additional contact information, how you can reach them, both Zilson and Brian, into the comments field. You can check that out. So don't go there now. Just note it so you can know to check that out after the show. But let me give a shout out to Zilson. Zilson, how you doing, man? I know you're coming in from Brazil. You doing all right?
Hey, Gerald. Hey, Brian. Hey, Rick.
Yes.
Everything okay? Everything okay in Brazil?
Yes.
Now it's starting to rain here.
Oh, yeah. It's cold. Cold here.
I ran to close all the windows in my house.
All right. So we don't have to hear the rain showers in the Brazilian rainforest there. So.
Man.
So before we go any further, I want to take a minute to talk about Gerald's contribution to the campaign. He not only had some great advice, and he's right, I followed some of it, but he also helped an awful lot with the graphics, and I can't thank him enough. So thank you, sir.
That was my pleasure. Because I guess if you hadn't checked the anniversary show yesterday, Rick, Joe, myself, it is our mission to really help independent creators in any capacity. And you're a dear friend of mine, Brian. So it was my pleasure. It was my honor to do that for you. But enough about that. Let's move into what we call the elevator pitch. You guys have been on the show before, but there are probably people here in the audience who haven't checked it out. But I'm not going to hold it against you guys who haven't seen it, because you can go to see the plethora of videos.
I am. What the hell?
Rick will. But so if you see Rick outside your window, if you see him, better go check out that video where it has Brian and the Dojo Kun crew with featuring Zilson, and you can check out that in our library. But hey, let's get into the elevator pitch part of it. So let's start with Brian, and I'm going to hand the mic officially over to you, and I'll have some visual aids to play in the background while you talk up, your creds, because before Siamese, before all this, you are a publisher yourself. You're not only a writer, so you have a library of books that you've produced as well. So I would love for you to talk that up. So the mic is now in your hands, Brian. Let's hear your.
Okay, thank you. So Gerald's right. I've been publishing for about 6 years now under the banner of Dojo Kun Comics. I worked for 2 other small press companies before branching out on my own. And the comic books that I'm producing, I'm doing my best to emulate the work of the early 1980s, when the comic book industry really seemed to be firing on all cylinders and really respecting not only the fans, but the history of the comics that came before them. I think they've gone away from that now, but boy, in the 1980s, things were just rocking and rolling. So that's the kind of comics that I'm trying to emulate with my connected superhero universe. As he mentioned, I've got comics that I've published before. I've got 12 comics that are published, and this Siamese Trade Paperback collects the 4-issue miniseries of Siamese, which were the first 4 issues that Dojo Kun Comics produced. The first 2 issues were by a fine art portrait painter named Mike Salter. Mike had to depart the project, and then I found Zilson, which was very fortuitous because Zilson did issues number 3 and 4, and his style is a little bit different than Mike's, but it's clean and crisp. And Zilson is very, very good at interpreting my scripts. You know, usually when an artist returns, let's say, the sketch art because he wants approval from the writer, there's usually a few things that need to change because things aren't exactly the way the writer intended. But Zilson in his craft is just superb at interpreting my script and bringing back either what I asked for or something even better. There was, in fact, a page for another project we did where I said I'd like these 6 panels to indicate that this person was going through their morning routine. And Zilson took it upon himself to make it look like puzzle pieces. And that was fantastic. We've got nothing but compliments on how clever that was. And I really appreciate his contribution because, yes, the writer is a storyteller, but this show is all about art. And in fact, as an artist, Zilson is a superb storyteller too. So I think we've got a great rapport. His line art is crisp. He's great with the panel construction. It's not always just a 6-panel grid. He really likes to change things up, and I really appreciate that. So yes, the campaign went live on April 5th. So we're a ways into it. We've got about 11 days left in the campaign. We've got 78 backers so far, but I have every reason to believe that we can get to 100. It'll be kind of tough to get there within the next 11 days. We'll see how the pace goes. If things stay slow, I might just close it after the first 30 days. But if things are picking up, and they sometimes do after 30 days, as you get close to the end of the first 30 days and you get yourself out there and get on some more shows like here on Comics Cast, some more people get their eyes on the project and give it a chance. So, you know, it's possible that what'll happen is I'll extend it for the next 30 days. And then, of course, the great methodology then is to consider going in demand once you start fulfillment. But I'm all ready to fulfill, and that's something I should tell you about. I've already got all the Gemini mailers in the garage. They're ready to be loaded up. The book itself is complete. Like I said, Mike did issues 1 and 2. Zilson did issues 3 and 4. The only thing left to do now is to get the print files together and get that out to the printer. There's a few extra things, though. This book is going to be more than 100 pages, this trade paperback. There are 22 pages in each of the 4 issues that were released. So there's 88. The covers, the interior covers, the back covers, if they're significant, will all be included. But also there will be some behind-the-scenes concept art that came from the co-creator of Siamese, whose name is Cy Lim. He's from New Zealand. There will be some professional pinups that I commissioned to get done. And I also asked for some fan art to be submitted. So, and that's still available if you want to make submissions. I'm keeping that open till the end of the first 30 days. That gives me a chance to gather the ones that are really good and include them in the book when I develop the print file. So I'd really like to see any of you who are artists, particularly since that's what this show is about. If you'd like to give Siamese a shot and you want to send it to me when we talk about our contact information, I'd love to see some fan art. And if it's up there at the top of the echelon, I'll definitely include it in the book. I'd be happy to. So let's see what else to tell you about. Oh, okay. So the covers of Siamese, the original 4 covers, will be inside the trade paperback, but there are a regular cover and 5 variants now for the trade paperback itself. So those 4 covers won't be reiterated now. We've got variants. In fact, Zilson right there provided one of the variant covers for us. We've got a variant hardcover, which is a limited edition, and more than 30 out of the 50 have already sold. So we're really rocking and rolling with that. I think what I'll do is I'll save any more comments as far as the campaign goes for while we're doing our later segments here. So that's just the pitch about the book, and hope you give it a chance and that you'll enjoy this show.
Yeah, that's an excellent elevator pitch. In fact, we're going to revisit that because after we do the live drawing, we're going to actually go to the page, and Brian's going to be able to give more or visual examples of all those variant covers and some of all the swag and all the stretch goals and all the other options you can get. So I know that Brian is an expert on this because this guy is a hustler. The guy has been on like 50 plus shows, promoting it. This is the way you hustle. This is the way you if you want to get a successful crowdfunding campaign, you got to talk to Brian because Brian did the work. He did the groundwork. He did the research, made sure his campaign was ready to go, and then he made sure that everybody knew about it that was in the independent community. But yeah, that's a great story. So we're going to continue that exploration and showing about all the little bells and whistles that you can get along once you support the Siamese Trade Paperback. That'll be something to look forward to. Look for it at the end of the show after we do the live drawing. But without further ado, I also want to talk about Zilson, who is I think that Brian told an excellent story. Now he did say the first couple issues were done by another artist, but it was like a blessing in disguise because I think that Brian was able to make a connection with Zilson. We're probably going to talk a little bit about that during the live drawing when Brian maybe can talk about maybe that how he found Zilson and when we're doing some live drawing of the Siamese because we got to do Siamese because that's our first live drawing. But yeah, we'll save that story for that. But for now, I'm going to pass the mic to Zilson. And Zilson, you tell us a little bit about yourself while I show some of your art. So the mic is now in your hands.
Yes, let's go. Well, I'm a comic book artist, a professional comic book artist since 2012, when I met Dan Sen, and I made my first work to Argo Comics, the origin of Shazra. But I'm a comic book artist since 1996. Yeah, I have my own characters. This is Nature Man. This is Nature Man. It's the cover for Nature Man #2, who was released in January, I think. The illustration of the figure of Nature Man is the same, but the background is others. The colorist has changed the background, and was my first work with them. And Nature Man is our actual work. We did 4 issues for Nature Man. So this is my
bad.
Yes. Thundercats.
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
This is a commission I made for CCXP, the Comic Con of Brazil in 2020. It was just online, and this is a print art in the format A3. I don't know what to say in English. The size of paper.
Oh, that is
big
an
paper.
A3. I believe
A3?
that's the A3. Yeah.
Yes. So this is a print art as I made for the CCXP, and really great fan of Thundercats and all of the 80s.
Yeah, this is beautiful work, and I think that Brazilian Comic Con that you're talking about, that's like the equivalent of like a San Diego Comic Con. It's one of the big cons in Brazil, correct?
Yes, this is the only one we have in Brazil. The only one as a Comic Con format, really Comic Con format, because we have a little events in Brazil.
Right.
As we have CCXP, a great Comic Con, and a festival in Belo Horizonte named FIC, International Comics Festival. Just these 2 events, big events, but have a lot of events, small events in Brazil.
Yeah.
In all the Brazil. But
this
is the main event.
Yes, that's what I'm gonna say. It's like this is a big deal to get be able to get, and Thundercats, that has a special place in all of the children of the 80s, all of us that grew up watching those great cartoons. And so when I saw this piece, this is a new piece that I had before. This is you definitely nailed this design. And let's keep on going here because it got so much good stuff. Here we have obviously Batman, the Frank Miller style, but it's in Zilson style. So you want to talk a little bit about this?
Yes, this is. I was learning to use my bamboo tablet.
Yes.
This is 2014, I think. I was learning to use, and I was sketching on Manga Studio.
Yeah.
And Frank Miller is a great artist. In Brazil, we love Frank Miller. This age of Dark Knight Returns, huh?
Yeah.
It's great. So I made this drawing on Manga Studio and on my bamboo, Wacom bamboo, and the colors I made on Photoshop.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, for your first digital drawing experience, I think you got that whole Frank Miller vibe, the grittiness of it, but it definitely has your signature style to it. And I'm gonna go to the next one here, and I can tell you're a big fan of Masters of the Universe. So I'm looking at this stuff, and
that's Fisto.
Yeah, Fisto.
Yes.
Rick noticed him right away too. We love Masters of the Universe, and I just love your. This is in 2021, so you can really see the evolution of Zilson's style in terms he's incorporating the speed lines and the looks like screen tones that you've added in there, and it just has a nice grittiness to it, but it looks still sharp. And I think that's something that I think that Brian really probably noticed a lot about your artwork in terms of so crisp and so clean, but it has energy that's in it.
Yes, man. Incredible. I had a dream with He-Man and Masters of the Universe in 2020. So I had my action figure of He-Man action figure in 80s, but someone robbed it when I was a kid.
Oh no!
So a lot of my action figures has gone.
Oh no!
But in 2020, in the last year, I had a dream with Masters of the Universe, and I back to buy the figures. I buy the figure of the 80s of He-Man.
Yes.
And after this, I bought a Battle Cat and a Skeletor and a Panther. And now Mattel has the new collection.
They do.
Origins.
Yes.
It's really hard to buy these figures in Brazil. Have no figures.
Well,
even in websites, even in stores, nothing.
Okay,
same in Denmark. In Denmark, we don't get these figures.
Oh, you don't? Okay,
it's really difficult.
Rick, we will talk later on because my Walmart has pegs of this stuff. So if I can, maybe I can help you out. So you just let me know. We'll talk about that afterwards. But I have a great love for Masters of the Universe.
You are the man, Gerald.
About it. But I think there was this next character here. Funny story that happened yesterday.
Plant Man.
Yes, because when Zilson and I were talking about it, called me being just dumb. I didn't hear what Zilson said, and I thought he said Plantain Man, and I was like, and this character is called Plant Man, and I was like, Plantain Man. So he's like a banana man. I mean, I was like, and I was this whole. It was
Gerald.
It was like 5 minutes of me going. So Plantain Man goes to hell, and he's fighting this demon. He's fighting to get out of hell, and then Zilson and Brian were just like saying, "I can't believe he's saying that." And then Brian goes, "Gerald, he said Plant Man, not Plantain Man." And I was like, "Oh." So anyway, Zilson, pardon my ignorance. I'm gonna let you talk about Plant Man because he's. I know there's a story behind this, but go ahead and tell us a little bit about Plant Man.
Incredible. About the Fisto, the drawing of Fisto. I used to make these illustrations between and work and other work. just to train and to sketch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Can you show my sharing screen,
Yes, yeah. You just need.
please?
Let me go to.
Just
You're
to speak about.
You're not sharing.
Yeah, I think he's doing it. Let's see. I think he's doing it right now.
There we go. There we go.
Yep, there it is. Here we go.
This is the
Oh.
plan.
The plant, yes.
No
see
more
that-
mistakes. No more mistakes, Tiago.
No, it's not a
You
plantain.
already done.
I
You
see.
already done two.
I see no bananas.
No banana.
You also,
No.
You also called Brian for Brian Mermaid in our text
Oh,
chat.
okay, here, yeah. I knew that had to come in there too. So
Brian Mermaid.
blame autocorrect. Autocorrect does not. The iOS does not recognize Menard. It says Mermaid.
Autocorrect. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Zilson, go ahead and talk. So this is the inspiration behind Plant Man, right?
Yes. Let's go to the illustrations.
Okay.
Show elevator pitch, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
So this is Sisal, the
Sisal.
name of the plant,
Mhm.
and the name of the superheroes is the superhero is Mr. Sisal.
Ah, okay.
It's inspired by the plant. You can see the points on the uniform and the corns
Uh-huh.
inspired by the plant.
Yes.
This is a character by my friend Ricardo Tadeu, and I made on this story. I made pencils, inks, and colors. And this page is he's escaping from hell.
Yes. Because you know what? I guess plants have a hell too. I don't know, but Plant Man Sisal has to fight his demons and get out of hell.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I just really like the drama. It's so dynamic. I'm a big fan of like the worm's eye view, and I like the exaggerated foreground and background. Or maybe this demon is just super big too. I have no idea. Maybe he's like a giant. But I love how you do this. When I look at it, it reminds me of an Al Milgrom, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko. You have a lot of the classic artists that I was introduced to back in the 80s. Of course, they were I didn't start collecting until the 80s, but I see all these really, really great influences in your artwork, and
I can definitely see Milgram in this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and the inking style reminds me of like Terry Austin, and definitely has that just really, really nice stuff. And then we have another panel here, and this is more of that energy that I was talking to you about. I mean, Zilson, you want to talk a little bit about this particular piece? What is Sisal doing here?
Yes, this is another page, a sequential page of the comic, and Sisal saves his sister. Sister.
Okay.
I don't know with the it's not sister-in-law, adoptive sister.
Okay.
Adoptive sister.
Okay. Do you know her name?
Is that?
Do you know
Is that? Adopted sister. So the comic book is on the city of Riachão do Cajuípe. This is a city in Brazil, in Bahia.
I see.
It's the state of the author. The author Ricardo having.
Yeah.
So this is the real city we have drawing.
Excellent. So this is based. Sisal is based in reality in terms of like real places that are in Brazil. So I think that's really that you can. So like I see there's a store here. Is Gamos a? I don't know what is that a. Let me refresh the screen here. Is that like a famous store that's in Brazil too? Like right here?
Yes, this is a mall.
It's a mall. Okay, gotcha. So really cool stuff here. I really enjoy looking at Zilson's work. But you know what? Today we're also going to talk. I mean, obviously, we're going to talk about Siamese, and this is the collaboration. This is where I want Brian and Zilson to talk together about these pages here, because this is black and white. Because there is a different color. I mean, Zilson didn't color these pieces. There was another colorist that worked on it. But I just want to talk about this interaction between the two of you guys, because these are powerful powerful sequentials. You see a lot of drama in here. Zilson's interpretation of Brian's script. I just like it's so good to see this in black and white because you can really see the positive, negative spaces, and you can see just they look like these could be storyboards for a movie. Just exceptional work. So the two of you want to talk about these 3 pages that we're going to share?
So yeah, I'll start, Zilson, and the reason I want to start is Gerald just mentioned something very poignant, and that's the fact that I write as if I'm writing a screenplay. That's not being megalomaniacal. I'm not thinking that someday, well, it wouldn't hurt if this was someday made into a live movie, but from my perspective, that's how I write comics. Is I write them as if it's a play. So I'm looking at the beats of action. I make sure that they flow nicely, and then of course, as I mentioned a little while ago, his interpretation is fantastic. This section here at the bottom, where they're having a martial arts fight, I thought it was great that he did it without borders. He did it open panel, without any background, so that the complete focus was on the action that was occurring. So, Zilson, you want to talk about, how you came to because that's not how I wrote it, but it's great.
Yes, I really, when I start a comic panel or a comic project, I really made a lot of research, and I researched on my own comics, on my favorite artists. Between these artists, this is Joe Bennett. Joe Bennett is a great influence.
Yes.
I don't like him. Don't tell anybody. I don't like him. But this is a great artist and a great influence. So the way of the cinematographic scenes he used, I try to make something like him, and Jack Kirby and John Buscema.
Yes.
A lot of artists that influences that my influences, and mix all of this and create a page and the angles and all of the
particularly panel 3 on this page. That looks very dynamic. The way one of the Doberman gang is diving at her to fight. That looks a lot very Kirby influenced there. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I love the way this is what I talk about it being very cinematic, because Zilson, I don't know if Brian directed or noted this in the script, but this is just great storytelling, because you can see how he really flips the perspective. So you see one of the Siamese in her feral state, and this member from the Doberman gang. But I think this is if you see it told wrong, where you'll notice that it doesn't flow right. But the way that Zilson did this is how you do it in cinema. When you do cinematography, you flip it so that subconsciously, as the viewer is looking at it, it really it flips the perspective. You see it as it moves from panel to panel, and then by putting it on a slight angle, panel 3, that's one of my favorite ones, just like Brian said, and it emphasizes a static page, but you can feel the energy and the motion, and that's just really great storytelling. And the fact that you're using this really wide 16:9 aspect ratio, that really makes it feel like a movie. I'm looking at it, and it just I'm ready. Netflix, Rick is always makes fun of me whenever I say that. Our guest work is going to be a Netflix production. That's what's going to happen.
Also, a thing that I like, which also shows that Zilson is heavily inspired by the old school artist, is how he make sure the characters stay on their sides of the page overall. That's what they teach back in the day, in order to not confuse the viewer. Try and keep the characters on each side, like they do here. Also, right. even in the fight scene, at the lowest.
Yes,
it's still even though they fight, he's still making sure that the base of the character is on the side on the same side all the time, and that just shows that he he knows his stuff, and he is heavily inspired by the good old days.
Yeah, exactly. That is a really, really good point. And your inking is just so phenomenal, because speaking from somebody who's a notorious squiggly line scribbler, I just look at like how you do have those motion lines, but you also create these textures. I love how you incorporated this rather than just using a dark shadow here or like a straight up gray tone. You're using screen tones to create textures here. Just really brilliant panel construction. And there's no words here, there's no color, but you can see the choreography that's been built in here, and it communicates so well. Yeah, just really great. So let's keep on going, because I want to get to live drawing, because it's gonna be a treat to see Zilson in action and hear Brian talk more about it. But here's another panel, and Zilson is even playing around with just changing just this really changing the point of view. Not only is it like a worm's eye point of view, but he also puts these really strong negative spaces in here, and the choice of these would normally be straight up horizontals and verticals, but since he oriented it at an angle, they become diagonals, and it's just leading your eye. He has this negative space. I'm assuming this is where script, like where word bubbles would go, but it's just so much energy, so much. Eating this up. This is just really great. So Brian Zilson, you want to talk a little bit about this panel as well, or this page?
Yeah, the fight scenes, they're sometimes difficult to write because you don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over again. So sometimes it's difficult to write these. But Zilson has a great way of, I keep saying interpreting, but he's using the script and really coming up with dynamic poses and action shots that make the script come to life. When I get these back from him, it's a thrill to see him. It's as if I'm seeing it for the first time, even though I've seen it in here. I see it his way, and sometimes it's better than I had envisioned it. So yeah, kudos to him for that.
Zilson, you want to add anything to that besides you got kudos?
Look at this panel 2.
Panel 2.
It's a clear influence from Jack Kirby.
Yeah,
I was about to say the same. That's Kirby.
On the New Gods, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
So good. So good. And
I was reading Bernie Wrightson, so
yes.
In this time. Yeah, so the black and white is inspired by Bernie Wrightson, so, but of course not so good that Bernie Wrightson.
Well, you know what?
But I'm trying.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, is that you obviously are influenced by Bernie Wrightson, and Jack Kirby and all the greats here, but that's where you have your own style. You can obviously be influenced by them, but I think that you're not handicapped by, oh, I gotta make sure that it looks just like them. No, this is Zilson. This is all Zilson. This is Zilson putting his own stamp on it, and that's your style.
Well, that's what style is all about. It's basically use the inspiration you have and make it your own, and that's what you do, Zilson. It's really good work.
Beautiful.
What I also like about Zilson's art and the way he portrays things is that you don't need word bubbles to understand what's going on at all. Of all the stuff we've seen so far, you could leave all word bubbles out, and you'll basically get the basic story anyways, and that just shows.
You don't even need the writer. I'll see you guys later.
No, you still wrote the story.
Well, you know what? To Brian's credit, Brian is his script, and he's telling you, he's choreographing it in the script as well. It's just that what we're seeing right here is the complete synergistic relationship, that relationship between writer and artist. And Brian said it himself. He said that it's like it comes when he writes it in words and he gives it to Zilson. Zilson interprets those words, and it comes out better than what Brian saw in his mind. So that is successful storytelling, because to not take away from any credit from a writer is that there has to be a starting point. And when you put those words down, when I read, if I'm reading a script or if I'm reading a novel, Zilson is reading those words, and those words become images in his head, and they just translate through his, from his head to the fingers and to the page. And that's what we want to see. We want to see that great relationship. And look at that. That's good stuff.
Zilson is being very humble about it because he says he's not as good as those he's trying to follow, but I would say he's every bit as good as those.
Oh, I agree. But that is the curse of an artist, isn't it? Never to feel like you're as good as the people you want to be as good as.
Right.
I mean, except for me, of course.
Of course, because you're so humble.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Rick? I was actually going to give you credit. I was going to say, well, Rick actually told me that because he's an artist. Rick is an accomplished artist himself. But
wait, he draws things?
Well, you saw my invincible. Follow me.
Apparently
that was okay. That was just a quip because I haven't done your Naya yet.
That's right. Yep. I'll believe it when I see it. I haven't seen any art from you, Rick.
As I told, I will believe it when I see it as well.
But I was going to say that, Rick, I was about ready to give you some props here by quoting you, but then what I'm going to say is going to contradict what you just said, because I was giving Rick some praise for some artwork that he did, or from artwork, and he also is an accomplished video editor, and I sort of said, hey, that's some really great work, and then Rick was like, no, it's not so good, and I was like, quit beating up on yourself, and he was like saying, well, as artists, you're always going to be not satisfied with your artwork, and it's not from a defeatist point of view. It's more from like, I want to get better. I think Zilson is humble, and we love his artwork, but he's probably saying, oh, it's not so good, because he knows that he's going to get to the next level. He wants to level up his art. Everything that an artist wants to do is constantly grow and perfect his or her craft. And I think Zilson is just an embodiment of that. Oh, here we got some comments here. We got this from Roy. Artists amplify the writer's vision. So if the writing is crap, it usually ends up as crap. But in this case, awesome writing amplified by damn good art. I believe that. That is.
Oh, thank you, Roy.
Roy,
you made Carol say crap.
Yes, I guess that's me. It's like crap is.
You're the bad guy in this show, Carol. Yes. Wow.
I know. Crap is such a dirty word. Dirty word.
I haven't even said F words yet.
Yeah, and that would be wise. That would be wise. But anyway, here we go. We have one more panel before we get into the live drawing, and this is just more more examples of why Zilson and Brian are such a great team. Because here you have some scenes, it's not all action. In fact, it's after the action. The action's already happened. And Zilson is still finding ways to make a post-action scene seem dynamic. The people are beat up on the ground. It's going to be a narrative part where they're having just a conversation. And it's still dynamic. You guys want to talk a little bit about that too, Brian and Zilson?
Yeah, in this case. Go ahead, Zilson.
A little bit of words. This is very difficult pages to make, so I have no action, and I avoid to draw angles from lower and up angles.
Yes,
I avoid, but this is extremely necessary. So there's no escape. You need to make this.
Yes.
True. There's no escape, no?
Yes.
Please, Brian.
I mean, that's the only way that would have worked if you had wanted all this into it. If you had done it upside from the top down, it wouldn't have looked as good.
Yeah.
So great choice, even though it's a really hard angle to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the changing perspective is important here because it really lends itself to a dynamic page where Gerald's right. This is just dialogue between the two characters. And to pat myself on the back a little bit, this conversation here is where the drama. I mean, the battle is sort of drama, but this is where the Siamese are arguing about whether or not to stay in their werecat form. So one of them wants to, the other doesn't. They were changed into their werecat form against their will. But one of them thinks it's a bad thing, given the carnage, and the other is digging it. So they are having a conflict on this page, which it's kind of difficult to tell. But I want to point out the facial expressions. If you look at the second panel,
Right.
that one there is the older of the two. She's the one with the white tail, who sort of is the mothering part of the Siamese duo.
Right.
You can tell by her facial expression that she's concerned. She doesn't agree they should stay in werecat form. So she's, like almost kind of hurt or concerned. Whereas if you look at the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth panel, the real close up, you can see that the other one with the black tail is angry that Kiao doesn't understand how much fun this could be. So Zilson not only is interpreting the script, but he's really doing a great job of portraying their emotions on their face.
Yeah, I totally dig it because that adds, they're Siamese, but it has that yin and yang type thing where they're opposites of points of view. And what I was going to say that I thought was brilliant and I don't know if Brian, if you directed Zilson to do this, but from an art standpoint, when I look at this panel, this is probably one of my favorite panels, not only because I'm a big fan of the worm's eye view, but you don't directly see the other Siamese cat, but you see the negative space here. And it actually adds a visual, a graphic element that leads you it's all subconscious. You're looking at it, and this negative space leads you into this next panel. I love how you frame with the shadow here. It's just, and then this thing here, it can easily be confused with these cables here, but visually, I'm looking at this and these angles, it all tells a story visually. You recognize that this is the other Siamese cat, and you can see like here, you're using a negative, positive, negative space with the shadow, dark shadow here. It's just great storytelling, and this thing to frame it. Okay, let me let
another great thing is actually this could easily be looked at as well as two frames due to how the negative space separates it.
True.
So
true.
Which is also a really nice trick.
Yeah, good storytelling, and I don't know if this was intentional too, but I love how you framed it here because with the shadow to have this light area here. And then just what Brian was saying, just having these opposing points of view in terms of what kind of state that they should, remain in. But awesome stuff. I'm going to actually stop it right here because we have a couple extra pieces here that will lend itself to drawing challenge number 3. And I want that to be a surprise because Zilson has it. It is so good. And I shared it with Rick, and Rick was just
I absolutely love it.
We were we want to talk about it so much, and it's so good. But we're going to dedicate the first drawing challenge just attention to Siamese. So we are at a great stopping point to begin the end. We did a really good, thorough elevator pitch. We're going to get into the live drawing. So just like with all the live drawings, let me actually unshare this or unstop. Let's stop the screen here. Just like with all of our live drawings, we encourage our audience to draw along with us. If you do, just let us know in the comment field that you are. And when you're ready to share it to the art show, which is our sister group. And then, of course, let myself or Rick know in the comments field that you are there. And Rick will be happy to pull up that artwork. Because if you're like me and you're in the audience and you're seeing what Brian and Zilson have put together, you're going to want to draw this. You're going to want to participate. And this will be a good test run because just like Brian said, the door is open for that for fan art for Siamese. So draw along with it. You may catch Brian's eye, and he may reach out to you, and you can reach out to him. We're going to see how that is. We want to put creators in our audience together to connect them, so you can definitely make that communication. But draw along with us. We encourage you to. All right. So Rick, this is where Rick loves it because I start shutting up, and any time that I speak during the drawing,
it's my favorite part of the show.
He gives me a hard time.
So quiet.
Yeah, so let's Zilson.
And I get to talk.
Yes. So Zilson, if you want to share your art screen, I think it dropped off again. Go ahead and share that, and I'm going to get mine set up. And so Brian and you and Rick can take over.
People, here's one of the references.
Yes.
This is them in the feline form. Is that not what it's called, Brian?
They're werecats.
Werecats.
Yeah.
In the werecats form. And remember, one of them has a black tail. It can't be seen proper here, but yeah, black tail. If you want to put both in there. And let's see if I can find the other one. 1 second.
So professional.
Well, you focus on your job. I'll focus on mine. And here we go with the non-WhereCat form, and that'll be your reference for this time, people that's drawing along with at home. Yeah, Zilson, your art screen is still not showing. I think it dropped out.
Can you see my
No.
my screen?
No, you're not showing up. Make sure you share your application. And right now I think you selected the web browser. So select your application, and we should.
Okay, just a second.
Okay.
You go press. You go share screen, and then you go into your. Yeah, there we go. I see it now. There we go.
Good.
No, he didn't, Roy. He didn't get me anywhere.
Yes, Roy, I got him.
Don't encourage him, or I'll just start talking Tagalog to him.
Oh, there you go.
Roy and I have been teaching me Philippines.
Oh, okay. You're going to be dangerous now that you know some Tagalog.
Yeah.
All right.
So before we go too more far into it, I see Zilson already started. Let's say 15 minutes.
Yep, sounds good. Oh, well, it's not up to me. It's up to the guest. Yeah. Ask the guest.
Is that fine, Zilson?
Okay.
15 minutes.
Zilson's like, I'll be done in 5.
I'll have it colored and inked and ready to go.
So while we're talking, I'm going to give the Siamese draw along a shot.
Oh,
nice.
Oh,
nice.
Awesome.
I've got my little sketchbook here. I've been trying to do one sketch a day. Here's one where I did of a dragon.
Oh, nice. That's great.
Beautiful.
That looks awesome.
So I'm trying.
All right.
Pierre is still fiddling along, but the 15 minutes has already started. So
what? It started already? Okay. Yep.
Yeah, Zilson's almost done.
So going a little back to.
Oops. All right, there.
Professional.
I know. You got me. All right.
So going into what Joel talked about a little bit about how open and willing and helpful you have been to the overall indie community, Brian. I'll just take an example as just yesterday when my show got aired in the chat. Sarah, who's one of the students, you reached out to her in the chat while we were premiering the show, that you wanted to work with her. You also reached out to Roy Mercado about helping him. You've really, I must admit, from what I've seen of what you do, it's exactly what I want to do as well. I want to help more than have what I do benefits me, if that makes sense. More focus, more passion on helping others, and give other people a place to show themselves and improve. And I just had to mention that I really respect that from you, and good work.
Thank you, Rick. A few people have reached out to me. Indiegogo, for example, doesn't allow for campaigns for people in the Philippines. So a few folks from the Philippines have reached out to me, particularly Arias Hernandez. He has a design art studio in the Philippines. He's also a comic book publisher, and he has published 64 issues of a book that he calls The Maygun War. Well, he reached out to me and said, would I be willing to publish The Maygun War under the Dojo Kun Comics banner and help him with the campaign. Well, at first I thought, I don't know, I don't want to commit to something. So if you could send me a little bit of your art areas, I'd be interested in at least looking at it. Well, he sent me a piece that I'll show you a little bit later, but it was like, wow. I mean, it's incredible. And I guess he does the line art and his girlfriend does the coloring. So they're a great team. And we're not going to do 64 different issues. What we plan to do is gather 4 or 5 of them into larger graphic novels and see how that goes. We're going to get the first 5 issues. As you just mentioned a few minutes ago, the language of the Philippines is Tagalog. And so they were published in Tagalog first. And he's doing some translations for me into English best he can. And then as an editor, I'm going through and, fixing some grammar, fixing some punctuation and things like that so that it's great for the English US audience. And I'm hoping that we'll be ready to do that later this year, that we can get maybe the first issue in a campaign started, because all of the artwork is largely done. He's wanting to tweak a few things, which is fine because after all, it's his creation. But I'm going to get the campaign designed for him with some of the things that Gerald mentioned, some suggestions he gave and some other suggestions I've got from the indie comics community. I had been publishing comics for a few years, like I mentioned, before I discovered the indie comics community on YouTube. And once I found them, actually, let me back up a minute. I was in a whole bunch of Facebook groups and I was posting art of my characters. And somebody saw that and said, yeah, Brian, those are great. But you probably don't want to put those out there until they're published in a comic book. And I'm like, yeah, the sad part about that is there's a whole bunch of comic books out there with these characters in them. And he said, oh, well, if that's the case, what you want to do is you want to start going on these streams on YouTube and become part of the community. And boy, has it been a supportive, encouraging, and inclusive community. It has been a wonder and a blessing to be a part of it. Some folks come in with criticism, but honestly, it's all constructive criticism. They're doing it just from a position of wanting to help. So that goes back to what Rick was saying, that for all of us, we are in a way competitors. Because at the end of the day, there's only so much disposable income for people to back campaigns with. But at the same time, I think somebody coined the term, what is it? It was like competitors combined with cooperation, co-opetitors or something like that. But the idea is that a rising tide raises all ships. So your success helps my success, helps the next indie creator's success, because it puts eyes on indie comics as a community that is giving a strong alternative to a mainstream that has been lacking over the last, I'm going to say, decade. Some of the stuff coming out of the mainstream is good. I'm not knocking it. I do still collect a couple of things, but for the most part, my pull list has been decimated. I think that they're too worried about being woke, and they're also paying no attention to what's come before, which is a shame. And that goes back to Dojo Kun Comics trying to emulate the previous times, like in the 80s. For example, the writers that I want to emulate would be like Marv Wolfman, who wrote the New Teen Titans in the early 80s, when that was just the book to yes, oh my gosh. And then, of course, Chris Claremont with his writing of the Uncanny X-Men. And in both instances, the X-Men and the Teen Titans, they were both written from a position of these characters are trying to come together as a team, and there's some conflict there, but they're also coming together as a family or as a group of friends. And there is a certain amount of respect that was portrayed in those instances. And it's that kind of writing. It's the characterization that I think is so important, because, the big, flashy and dynamic fight scenes are fantastic, and they really, draw the customer in. But it's the writing of characterization, interaction, emotion, conflict, all of those things really bring you back to a comic. So I'm hoping that, you'll see Zilson's art and want to see more of it. But then once you see you want to see the story, or I'm sorry, once you see the story, I'm hoping that will make you really want to come back to see what happens next. So the 4-issue miniseries. I'm sorry, Rick. What?
I was just gonna say that's a great point, and that there's 5 more minutes to go with the art.
5 minutes. Okay, go ahead. Keep it going. I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm listening to the conversation. It's great insight. So go ahead.
Okay, so the 4-issue miniseries that's gathered here in this trade paperback, it introduces not just Siamese, but several other characters as well. One is called Breathtaker. One is Brick House. There's the Countryman, Psionica, and the Scarlet Archer. And the thing about the Scarlet Archer, just real quick, originally it was a character from another company that I used to work for, who was also an archer. But because I don't have permission from that creator to include them in this trade paperback, I had Zilson go back in on each of the pages where that character appeared and replace it with my character, the Scarlet Archer. So if you go back and get the floppies from my website, you will have the original guest star in the floppies, but then in this trade paperback, it will be instead the Scarlet Archer. So there is a little bit of a difference between the original 4 and this trade paperback. And I'm kind of glad to have done that, because I don't want to be beholden to that creator. I left his company to start my own, so I want to, stand on my own now. The Scarlet Archer has appeared in a number of Dojo-kun comics, so it's good that he's a part of this trade paperback too, to really establish him as a character, because he's also going to be in the subsequent books. So after this 4-issue miniseries, which is collected here in Siamese, there's a 4-issue miniseries underway called Deanna, Hammer of the Angels, and number 1 is almost complete. We're on page 19 of 22, so that one's really rolling along. And I've yet to decide if we're going to do this as a trade paperback 2 and wait till all 4 issues are done, or if we're going to issue them as individual floppies. That remains to be seen. At the end of that 4-issue miniseries, Deanna, Hammer of the Angels, all the characters introduced in those 2 miniseries will come together in a team book that I've written called Trident's New Alliance. So I've got about 7 or 8 scripts written for that already. So based on the pace of campaigns, I think that I've written 7 or 8 years worth of material for the Connected Superhero Universe.
Wow! Holy cow! You're a busy man, and you seem like you have your end goal already well put out there, and now you're just working on building yourself towards that end goal, which is a nice progress. In have an end goal first, and then figure out how to get there.
I'm in it for the long haul. I'll be doing this as long as people are interested in reading them, because I love doing it. Even before I found crowdfunding, this is my first crowdfunding campaign. Even though I've produced and published 12 comics, I would be doing this even without crowdfunding. So, I've invested my own money and my own time, obviously. I've got artists and colorists and letterers from around the world, literally. I've got a married couple in Italy that does art for me. In fact, they did the cover for Siamese number 4, where the girls are in their werecat form. I've got another married couple in Russia. She's a colorist and he's a letterer. I've got folks in New Zealand, Brazil, Argentina.
Egypt now as well with Sarah.
That's right. Egypt is represented. I've got Barbados. I've got Canada, the U.S., the Philippines.
Soon to be Denmark. Just you see.
Soon, really?
I will prove I'm worth Dojo-kun comics.
Brian said it's he'll believe it when he sees it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that remains to be seen.
That is why I'm saying I will prove it.
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
So 2 more minutes, Zilson and Costa. Zilson is basically he's basically started on a whole new one, Joe. Not to put any stress on you, but he's already done 5 of these.
What?
Yeah, I didn't know he was going to do Countryman, Brickhouse, Breathtaker, and Psionica too.
Oh my
God. Wow.
All right. I know you guys are pulling my chain here. So I'm just gonna
never. We would never do that. Me and Brian Mermaid are the 2 most honest people.
Yeah.
So where did the original idea from for the Siamese come into play? Come to you? Is
Oh,
that
yeah, I think
based
that's a good
on
question.
based on real life? Like, do you have Siamese twins?
No.
Okay.
In fact, Deanna and I have 5 grown boys. And boy, are they a whole diverse group of boys they are. They are so very different from one another. But Siamese, I think that, a lot of people are drawing comparisons because they see a lot of Catwoman or Black Cat.
Mm-hmm.
But even those 2 characters are based on earlier characters like Miss Fury and her sidekick Kitty and Black Cat from back in the 40s. So I think it's almost impossible to come up with a completely original idea. So the important thing is to put your own spin on it, your own characterizations. So do they look a lot like Catwoman? Yeah, they do. But at the same time, they're going to have different things. Like, for example, I'm going to play on the fact that they are twins. One little idiosyncrasy, for example, is that they always refer to themselves in the plural, even if they are speaking about themselves singularly. So if this one, for example, with the whitetail said she was going to go to the store and the other was not joining her, she would still say, we are going to the store. So they always speak in the plural.
I love those small little quote unquote Easter eggs like that when in the writing.
So some folks also quote the Lady and the Tramp song with the Siamese, where they say, we are Siamese if you please. We are Siamese if you don't please. And going back to Arias Hernandez and the book that we were going to do together, speaking of Disney, he is a former Disney animator who worked on The Lion King, Kim Possible, and Tarzan. So he is a prolific artist. And I hope to come back on Comics Cast in the future when we do that Maygun War, so you can all see his art and maybe even get him on like you did with Roy and Marius yesterday.
Awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We'll be glad to have you. I mean, now I'm speaking for myself only. I can't say with Gerald because he's a critical man about who he gets in here. I would love to have you guys all the time. Anyways,
awesome.
time is up. Zilson already kind of just sat there now and waiting for me to say time is up. But yeah, time is up, Zilson.
Oh. All right, let's see what Zilson did. Oh, why are you on my screen?
Okay.
Hey, we had similar thoughts here. Oh.
Yeah, look at that. Both of you with the leaping thing. I like it.
Although I love Zilson's better. Look at that. Look at the inks already in there. Just superb work.
15 minutes and he's got that.
I know.
Yeah. So Zilson, just for the sake of discussion, could you please send that to me, please? Thank you.
Okay. But I've also followed this where we looked at the progression of this a lot. I really like that as well. It looks like more of an evil version for some reason. Like
I was thinking that she looks like she got hit by the Joker venom. That's phenomenal.
Yeah. That's like a more sinister version, and I really like it.
Yeah,
and,
I was taken by that whole feral version, and I was debating myself, like when I first started, if I was going to do a feral, and maybe I should have done the feral version. So maybe
I was gonna say it looks like you couldn't decide, so you gave us like maybe their mid-transformation.
Yeah. I think I will explore this. Maybe I'll do one in this pose, maybe make it more like the costume version, and then do another one in the exact same pose. That's the feral version. Then you can use, and then I'll flip it so it looks like yin and yang. Maybe that
nice.
But
speaking of the feral version, our loyal viewer and artist that always draw along.
I've
put up this.
Is this Sarah?
Of course, this is Sarah.
I forgot to.
Yeah, I recognize the style. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
I forgot to put mine up there. I got to send it to you quick.
We got it.
No, or you can just show it on your cam, and I'll just put the cam out so big.
Oh, I sent it to the art show.
Okay.
Okay.
It's on the art show.
Okay, let's see.
Sarah, you killed it. I love it.
There we go.
Oh, Brian, killer.
And while he was doing this, he was also looking at the camera when I was focusing on him. So he did this basically blind.
I mean, while you were showing their art, I was quickly, looking over and.
You did a fantastic job. I like how you definitely showed the different. Because see, I immediately didn't pick up on the colors of their tails, talking about their different.
Oh! Victor Ruffino.
Victor in the house. I told you.
Beautiful.
That's great.
Yes.
Victor is a close friend to both me and Gerald. We got to know him across our art journeys, and he's been popping out amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So if you so Brian, if you ever need a really great artist, wink, wink, wink.
I concur. Victor has been a really great friend, and I actually became friends with Victor because of Rick. Because Rick was we both.
Oh, I thought you knew each other before.
No, we became really good friends because of mutual following of Rick. But anyway, he's a talented artist, Brian. You can see here. So he actually we've been trying to figure out finding that happy medium, because he's a very refined artist where I'm a very squiggly artist. So we're trying to influence each other and both be like Zilson. If we can both be like Zilson,
it's actually funny.
I like
it's actually funny you mentioned that, Gerald, because every time I comment on some of your stuff, I do mention Victor as you try to be more stable like him, and with Victor I mention you as he trying to be more loose like you.
Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Be
come
like
on. Your art is really good. Yes, it's quickly, but the important part is that you get your stuff across.
Yeah.
Really good work. Really good work for this first one.
Yeah, that was great. Now, this is the part of the show that, of course, Rick loves it when I shut up, but he also likes it because Rick Challenge the second challenge is known affectionately as the Rick Challenge. And when that happens, we have no idea. Yep, see, Victor says it the same thing. I'll be happy to be 1/10 of Zilson. Me too, Zilson. We want to be like Zilson. I'm going to make a shirt that says "Be."
Zilson is like, no.
Be like. So that being said, I'm going to hand it back up to. Well, Rick challenges are basically they come from the maniacal mind of my co-host here, Rick. He comes up with some really off the wall challenges. I've been discouraging him from to do any type of dexterity challenges where we have to draw with our non-dominant hand or with our feet or things like that.
That's mostly because the owl sucks at it.
Oh, yeah.
Ouch.
But this time I felt like it was my turn now, Gerald. So I just stole your thunder.
Go ahead.
This time, if you guys saw the anniversary show yesterday, I brought something along for the raffle that I thought could be fun to include in a Rick challenge.
Oh no!
Oh, look at that!
So here, the wheel of names.
Okay.
The first, I got two. The first one is a number of a lot of creatures of different kinds. We got troll, ghost, cat, mummy, freakazoid, Loch Ness monster, rhino, boar, dog, vampire, mothman, Frankenstein monster, yeti, gnome, fairy, alien, kraken, banana due to banana man,
banana,
and unicorn.
Okay.
But that is not all. 1 second, because I actually got two going here.
You have
this
two?
This is where I need your help.
You need no,
Brian.
Brian's help. Brian. Go easy on us, Brian.
Because this side here is where I have put, as you can see, a lot of job titles down. So my idea is first I'll do the raffle with the first one to see the character, and then we'll do the job titles here. So right now I got hunter, gladiator, garbage man, wizard, police officer, gamer, ballet dancer, knight, ninja, soldier, doctor, mafia, superhero, and astronaut. And Brian, do you have any ideas for either another character to add to the animal mythical creature sections or job titles?
For the job title, I want you to add auditor.
Okay.
And I'm gonna chime in here because Brian, if you haven't heard when I met Brian, we were talking about, so Brian, what do you do? And we were just doing the getting to know each other. And Brian, better watch your step, because Brian is Brian, tell us what you do for a living. And
okay, so I'm an internal auditor, fraud examiner, anti-money laundering specialist.
Look out, Rick!
No, I know that. I know this already. Me and Brian have had some good Facebook chats.
So yeah, I have 5 different certifications. I have literally far more letters after my name that are in my name, even if you add my middle name.
Okay, so auditor is going to be added to the list. Any other ones, Brian, you want to add?
I'm also looking through the comments as well. I added artists as well.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
What about you, Zilson? Got any ideas I need to add?
Zombie.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Zombie. All right, so this is this will be it for now.
Okay.
Let's start with the job title.
Okay. Auditor.
Oh, it's gonna do it.
Oh, Rick, you rigged it. I'm gonna have a hard
time. Zilson, do you know what an auditor is?
It's Brian. He's got to drop.
No, I'm asking Zilson if he knows what an auditor is. It's a work. It's like work. Can you explain a little, Brian? Like,
I was interested to see how you did it.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay. An auditor is someone who reviews accounting, financial statements, and taxation to see that everyone is following the rules.
Yeah. Okay.
That's simplified, but that's basically it.
That's a challenge.
It's like a businessman.
Yes. Yes. All right.
With suit and tie.
Suit and tie. Yes, you could do that.
Yes.
And here we come with
zombie now.
Zombie.
A zombie auditor could be nice.
Zombie auditor. I feel like that sometimes.
Win the lottery. I want to win the lottery.
Dog.
A dog auditor.
Okay.
A dog auditor.
A dog auditor. Okay. Okay. Wait. Before we do that, you want to let's throw in one other thing, like a dog auditor. You want to add a superpower to it too?
No, because superhero was also a job title. So.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. A dog auditor. Jeez.
Looks like my character on Poodle Man.
You're not supposed to let. You're not supposed to be a secret. Shh.
An auditor dog.
Yeah, auditor dog.
It's not Poodle Man. It's all a character on the story.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. So we're doing a dog auditor. Okay.
I'll give you 20 minutes, I think.
Okay. All righty. Let's do this. All right. So Rick and do we lose Zilson? Oh, Zilson. There it is. Great.
Oh, no.
I don't know what kind of conversation you're going to get out of this. So, Rick, it is up to you to drive the conversation.
So what does an auditor really do? So, with all those titles you have, what made you decide to go away from all that and become a comic book writer? Or do you still work at a day job as an auditor? Right.
Yeah, I still do that for my day job. Honestly, it's going to be quite a while before comic books can replace that income. With 3 degrees and all those certifications, I do pretty well. And so comic books is just a hobby. And I collected for 47 years. So, I thought for a time that I was going to submit some work to Marvel, and I went on their site, and tried to find out, how does one submit to them? And after scouring their site for hours upon hours, I finally found a little paragraph buried on one of their pages that basically says, you don't. You go get published and we'll find you. So I went out to a site that that basically connects artists, writers, colorists, letterers, flatters, scripters, everybody. And there was an ad there that asked they needed somebody who could help write their comics and do their accounting. And I was like,
at the same time.
I'm like, have we met before? Because so I sent them a resume, and I sent them my script that I had written for She-Hulk. That's my favorite Marvel character. They hired me right away, and that's the first small press company that I worked for. After having written for them for a few years, I started my own, like I said. But yeah, it was interesting to do that. And yeah, as an auditor, to answer your first question, really what we do is we look at financial statements. We look at the work that people do as far as compliance goes. And one example, my company has credit card readers in all of the branches, and there is an outside audit mechanism that's called PCI auditor, payment card industry. So they can come in and audit every branch office. So in my role, I make sure that they are in compliance with the PCI DSS, which stands for Data Standard Security. So we make sure that they are following all of the rules necessary to protect the customer's credit card information.
Oh, that sounds. My head started hurting there.
Yeah, a lot of people they sort of glaze over when I start talking about it. So
yeah, I did feel a little like
lightheaded.
Yeah, I felt tired all of a sudden.
Well, that's
so
what I'm saying.
if my sleeping schedule ever gets bad again, I'll just call you up. and you'll start. I'm not, and that's not putting your job down, because obviously you love it, but as with everything else, it's a job, obviously not for everybody.
Right. Yeah, you definitely have to be a numbers person to enjoy being an auditor. And before that, I was an accountant for 16 years, which sort of helped qualify me for that. You could probably tell by looking at me, I've been around a while. I'm probably old enough to be your dad, Rick.
No, Brian Mermaid, you look so young and healthy.
He's not going to let that mermaid thing go, is he?
I appreciate that, but I collected for 47 years, and I had stopped collecting for a while because I had collected all the Marvel, all the DC, Image, Dark Horse, Valiant. I even really liked the short-lived Broadway comics that Jim Shooter did. The main books there were Fatale, Knights of Broadway, and Powers That Be. Those were
Powers That Be. I remember that one.
Yeah, I think Jim Shooter. We need editor-in-chiefs like Jim Shooter to come back. I think. Yeah.
So tonight at 7, I'm going to be on a show as one of the panelists. Then we're going to go over the top 10 Marvel books that you would recommend if you were recommending it to a brand new comics reader. So I spent some time really going through what I felt were my favorites. And believe me, that was a lot harder than I thought it would be to come up with only 10, because I had so many examples. And my favorites, of course, as far as art is concerned, are John Byrne and George Perez, other than Zilson. So with those guys, it was amazing to me, though. I'm going to sort of give a spoiler here, but my number one recommendation isn't John Byrne or George Perez. The story arc that I'm going to suggest is Frank Miller's Elektra versus Bullseye in Daredevil.
That is
that's
a
good one. That's a good
one. Frank Miller is, and Zilson talked about him just a little while ago when he did that emulation of Batman with Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. I really believe that although that was a fantastic miniseries, his story arc or his time on Daredevil was his best work ever. I still have that run of comics, even though I sold a lot of my comics several years ago. I kept those because they were so good.
I agree.
Yeah, here in Brazil, we called the fall of the fall of the demon.
Fall of the Demon.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I like that.
It's a
So,
mini series in Brazil.
it's a good. I'm a huge Daredevil fan, and what they're doing right now with Daredevil is basically. I think that's the only series that I'm keeping up with right now on the Marvel side.
Isn't
I collect.
Elektra's Daredevil now, right? Is that what?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
spoiler! Wow, Gerald, wow.
That's not a spoiler.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Oops. Okay.
But really,
Ignore me.
the story for the last year on Daredevil has been absolutely amazing, and my favorites from that and Thor.
Yes.
After Jane Foster stopped swinging the hammer and gave it back, has been really great. But okay, so in your top 10 is Jessica Jones as Alias a part of that one?
Alias? No.
Wow. I feel hurt a little there because that's one of the when a people that's not really into superheroes but wants to get into comics and Marvel, I always tell people to go read that one because that's a good introduction, and maybe at that time they'll become more fans of going into more superheroic comics.
Okay. The one series that I recommend that's not superheroes is believe it or not, it went 84 issues, which I was really surprised. But it's called The Nam, which is based on the Vietnam conflict.
Yes. Michael Golden, right?
Oh yes, Michael Golden
yes.
is phenomenal. In fact, Michael Golden did a lot of Micronauts. He did several issues of She-Hulk in her first series, the Savage She-Hulk.
He also did Savage Land for the X-Men. Remember that with the the Man Spider? Remember that one?
That's right. So, wait, did you say Marvel Fanfare?
I don't remember. I just know it was a Savage Land story.
Oh yes. Okay, so it was the first 4 issues of Marvel Fanfare was Michael Golden, where Spider-Man and the X-Men were in the Savage Land. Yes, and they faced the what was that group? They weren't mutants; they were mutates or something like that.
The Savage, the mutates, and it had Sauron.
Sauron, yeah.
Yes.
That was great, and that I think is those 4 issues are what really made me come to appreciate Michael Golden as an artist. So then I started looking for his stuff after that.
Yeah, I agree.
This was my first comic book.
Oh, really?
X-Men on the Savage Land.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
X-Men and Spider-Man.
Right.
Nice.
No wonder you guys had such a good rapport because you both had similar tastes. Really good.
Right. Yeah, I still own the 2 very first comic books I ever owned. We were headed to Florida, and we were at a 7-Eleven getting some snacks for the trip because we drove, we didn't fly. And Dad said, you saw me at the comic spinner rack and said, hey, you want to pick up a couple of those to read in the car? So I picked up Amazing Spider-Man number 196 and the Uncanny X-Men number 126. I'll never forget it, and I still have them. And they're pretty beat up because I read them many times, and that was when I was 7 years old. So I read them many times. Now I have what, Rick?
That's a few days ago.
Yeah. Well, 47 years.
That's a great. I remember spinners. I think that's one of the downfalls about comics these days is accessibility. I know there's a digital side, but the print side is just awesome. And it was being able to go to a 7-Eleven, being able to go to your local drugstore and be able to pick up those images and those comics. And they weren't like $5 an issue. They were like,
right.
They were so cheaper. You can't. How can you tell a kid to invest like $10 on 2 issues? Spend $10 on 2 issues. It's very hard to like
quit
sell
rubbing it in. Quit rubbing it in, Joe. We didn't have that in Denmark. He always have to talk about it because he knows we didn't have that in Denmark, so he has to gloat.
Oh, okay. I wasn't trying to gloat.
But yeah, speaking of repeating yourself, so I want to know: have you ever read Invincible, the comic?
Rick,
Brian?
I think, is getting paid by Robert Kirkman to like pitch.
I wish. I wish.
Are you asking me that?
Yeah.
I'm ashamed to say I have not read any Invincible.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brian Menard for today. Say no, no, I'm kidding.
He's gonna kick me now.
No, no. But really, you if you're still a reader, you should, because Robert Kirkman, the way he just completely twists the whole idea of a superhero comic is absolutely fantastic.
I've heard some fantastic things about it. The problem is when I heard it, it was already like almost 100 issues into it, and I felt that I just couldn't possibly afford to catch up.
Well, it's done now, so there's no you don't have to catch up anymore. You can take it as you please.
Or you can watch the animated series.
No,
right, Rick?
well, the animated series is great as well, but it doesn't follow the comic story
Oh, okay.
that much. It does follow the comic stories with the important parts, but there's so much different that even people that's huge fans of the comic like me still gets to enjoy the animated version. 5 more minutes, guys.
5 more minutes.
I don't know why they're still drawn. I'm done.
I mean, Zilson is basically just putting things in to make time go. He's done as well. He's just
my gosh.
He's just waiting for Gerald.
Yeah, I'm the slowpoke.
I know, Gerald, you don't like to look at it, so don't yet. But wow, wait till you see Zilson's.
I'm resisting the urge because I know it's gonna rock. It's gonna be.
So let's jump and look at Gerald being slow.
No.
I think it's so cool how you both had such a different take on it.
And
Looks like Droopy.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Looks
what
like
I like.
Droopy.
Yeah.
You're right.
That was my first thought as well, and I bet that was the reference he was looking for.
Yeah,
because I saw him look for reference.
I wanted to do like if Droopy Dog was going to get audited by his brother, and that's how I wanted to do it. And Droopy Dog is always so passive, so I wanted him to look more like kind of like mean, like he was going to take all of Droopy Dog's money. So,
is that your idea of an auditor?
No.
Is that how it is? I see.
and that's what I like about my challenges is when I make these mess ups, because it really shows the creativity of the artists. and with Gerald I let go off because he needed that much reference. I'm kidding. I will need reference as well. I'm a huge user of reference.
I think Rick was expecting me to do a rhino. I think.
Yeah, that's why I put rhino in there as an animal. Did you notice?
No, I didn't. I noticed Freakazoid because you can't let Freakazoid go.
Nope. So let's. Zilson is basically done, Gerald. So let's call it done.
What? Okay. All right. I am done.
Yeah. And you actually did good.
I did good? All right. Yeah. I did good. So that's all I need to know from Rick when he tells me I did good.
I think that's awesome.
Oh, why is my screen up here? Okay, well, I guess we're going to show my work.
Because Zilson was done and we wanted to see art in process.
Okay, so you got it. I based it on Droopy Dog. I was always a big fan of Droopy Dog, but he always had such a chill personality. So I thought Droopy Dog would be really cool to do somebody who's a little bit more hot, and he's I almost kind of crossed him with a bulldog, the bulldog kind of pouty lip there. But
yeah. Look at Zilson. Just while we've been talking about this, we decided to draw Snoopy as well. But his audience dog.
Oh, this was like his second or third drawing. I take it. Is that what he was doing?
Yeah, so let's see auditor dog there.
Oh, that looks so cool. That would look like it would, I can say it because Zilson spilled the beans already a little bit. It looks like somebody that could definitely fit into the Poodle Man universe. So hint. That's what we're gonna draw for the third one. Zilson, you killed it. What is it? Brian, what do you think about this interpretation of an auditor?
I think that's pretty cool. It's anthro, which is very different, of course. The briefcase looks huge, which means they've got a bunch of work papers in there, and he's got his Doc Martens on. I think it's great.
It looks phenomenal. I love it.
So the art show is filled with stuff right now.
Oh, I guess
Which is lovely.
Rick's challenge is a hit. It's a hit.
Now, but first, this one we missed. This is from Roy Mercado.
Whoa.
It seems like he just did like 5 lines, and then this
I know.
popped up.
That's the beauty of Roy's artwork. He can be ultra minimal with his lines, and it's so expressive. Great job, Roy. Great job.
Okay, let's go to this one then, also by Roy. And I love this one.
Is that like a miniature bulldog? I think
that's great.
I think he used Brian as a reference here.
Phenomenal work, Roy. I love it. Looks great. Such personality.
And let's say
Roy is so young and so good.
Yes,
Brian.
It's true.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Zilson. Considering the age Roy's at, he's only gonna get so much better.
Yeah. Wait, who was that?
That was Brian's.
Hey, Brian! Awesome, Brian Mermaid. That's gonna be your artist name. Mermaid.
And Sarah made her stuff into a small comic by adding the dog all next to the Siamese.
That is a first. That is a first. Combining the art together for two.
That's good thinking.
Yes, really cool.
The dog doesn't seem happy about wanting to pass. Really good. And then Victor Ruff. Speaking of Ruff, woof woof.
Victor Woofino.
Yeah.
Woofino.
Awesome work.
Great job.
Yes.
So
these are so fun. So much fun.
Yeah. Good work this time around as well, fellas. Really good work.
So Roy,
wait a second. Is he actually 14? Or is he pulling our leg?
No, Brian, he's married and got kids and everything.
Okay, all right.
I'm pretty. I don't think they allow that for in the Philippines for 14-year-olds.
Yes, that would be frowned upon if he had. So anyway, such a great challenge, Rick. Thank you for putting that together, and thank you. I had no idea Auditor would be picked. I think that
was funny. But another thing was funny was that Auditor Dog was picked because that is a really great segue to our third.
Yes, that is so true. And you know what? I shared both images of things to Rick. So Rick, you're in control of stuff. Let's go ahead and pop up because the last 2 images I didn't show during the Zilson's elevator pitch was the live drawing.
You only sent me one of them, but
I did. Okay.
This is going to be the next one.
Yes.
This, ladies and gentlemen, is the astonishing, the powerful, and lovely Poodle Man.
Poodle Man. All right, Zilson.
There's nothing dandy looking about this guy like the usual dogs.
Yes, it is so good, and I'm going to Zilson. You want to talk a little bit about just a tad bit because we're going to let you talk more about it during it, but you want to just talk a little bit about Poodle Man before we start doing the. You know what? Let's just start the live drawing, and you can talk about Poodle Man. How about that?
That's great.
Yeah, because Zilson can both draw and talk. So.
I can't do that. I cannot do that.
And I'll just say it as well for those only listening on. Those of you who drew Siamese, please be sure to send everything to dojugooncomics@gmail.com for a chance to be part of the fan art stuff.
Yes.
That's going.
Yes. All right. So.
Okay, no problem.
Do that, Zilson.
Yes, exactly. Zilson's good. Here's a spoiler. Zilson's art is going to be featured in the song. So there's a spoiler.
Wow.
Yeah.
So but anyway, let's Rick, you want to ask Zilson how long we want to draw Poodle Man? How about you do that?
How long do you want to draw Poodle Man, Zilson?
Yes,
10
Poodle
minutes.
Man.
20 minutes. 20 minutes.
Poodle
10
Man,
minutes.
20 minutes, yes. 20 minutes.
Okay, 20 minutes. Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Possibly. 20 minutes drawings, ladies and gentlemen, and I will be showing once again before we start. This is Poodleman.
Right.
Poodle Man is mercenary and looks like Lobo from DC.
Yeah,
He makes
actually,
money. He makes money breaking faces.
It's so
I love it. I love it. I wish that was my day job as well.
now,
This is
Zilson,
here's the
yeah, you told me a funny story about why you picked a poodle. How about you talk about that?
yes. He was born in the planet Poodle, and all the inhabitants are Pacific, and they love art and technology, but he's the only one who's savage in the planet. So he leaves the planet and go to make money breaking faces.
Yeah, Poodle power.
He's the only one, the only one poodle, savage poodle on the planet. So he's tried to be Pacific.
How did you get this idea, Zilson?
I was sitting on my house, and I saw a woman passing with a poodle, and I think I thought, oh, poodle is a soft, gay dog.
Yeah. You know,
How about to create a poodle who's savage
Yes.
and
Yeah.
poodle man case?
Poodle.
a badass poodle. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So let's go.
Yes, let's
Oh,
go.
your time is already started, Zilson. You're just talking and writing and drawing at the same time. But it's nice of you to give Gerald a head start. That's always sweet of you.
I didn't get much of a head start. It's just, but I was listening to Zilson because I really wanted to hear that story about how he came up with why he picked a poodle. And
I love that. He's the gayest of dogs.
But Zilson also told me about how he's from a planet of pacifists. So he had to get away from there, and now he likes to break faces. But he told me this great story about how not only is he different because he's not a pacifist. He's very savage. He's also, isn't he like the largest? Like his parents are tiny. They're like tiny poodles, and he's like the big poodle. Zilson had this whole idea about it. So
yes. So tell a little bit more if you can share without spoiling too much, because I'm really interested.
I made a lot of stories with Poodle Man. He's a villain. And the new story, he's tired to breaking faces, and he came back to the farm of his parents and becomes a farmer.
Oh, a little like someone named Clark Kent.
Yes.
I like
but
it.
he's really big, and his parents is really short.
They're basically the normal size of a poodle, and he's just this massive beast of a poodle.
Yes.
I love it.
We have a new puppy who's a mix of a poodle and a Newfoundland, and a Newfoundland is a very large dog. So we're thinking.
A weird breed.
What's that, Rick?
That's a weird breed.
Yeah. Well, what makes it even a little bit more odd is the dad was the toy poodle and mom was the Newfoundland.
Wow.
We didn't ask.
I think maybe step chairs was involved.
Something.
I had a Newfoundland once. That is one of my favorite dogs, even though it sheds like a mofo, to say the least.
Well, you know what's interesting is because it's got that poodle mixture in it, our dog doesn't shed much at all.
I was about to say, but poodles are known for not doing that. So,
right.
So, what does it look like the most? Does it more resemble a poodle or a Newfoundlander?
I think it mostly resembles the poodle because most people can immediately tell that she's a poodle mix, and then ask what she's mixed with.
It's so funny when you talk about mixed with. I keep on thinking it's like a mixed drink dog. Like, and just for the record, Rick said sheds. They shed like crazy.
Yeah, I didn't say they shit like crazy. They probably do.
Yeah, so
I said shit.
Rick
Shit
managed
first.
not to swear, and then in describing how he didn't swear, he swore.
That don't count, Brian.
Oh, why? Because it was in quotes?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did the air quotes. You didn't see his air quotes. There.
I see.
So Zilson. Well, no, I'm not going to shut up. I'll let Rick. Rick is talking. Rick is doing the interview.
Wow. Oh, okay. I'm clipping this. I'm clipping this to use later.
I want to see the Brian version.
Oh yes, I want to see it too.
You mean a Poodle Man?
Yes.
Yep, I did one.
Right?
I'm sending it to the art show right now.
Already, it's only 5 minutes, Brian.
I know you're done already.
Johnny Cage trying to tell me to have some manners. It's funny. I've known Johnny Cage for a long time, and he still tries to tell me have some manners. But he should know by now.
Yeah, really, Johnny. Have you met Rick?
That's so funny.
So speaking of mixes, actually, and that Roy is teaching me Tagalog.
It's Tagalog.
Tagalog, whatever. Okay.
Whatever.
He said that they had something called habo habo. That's mix.
Mix.
Yeah.
Okay. Not familiar with that, but maybe that's
because you're not a real Filipino.
I guess not.
That's only for us Philippines.
You know, Rick tries to. I'm going to tell you, Brian. Rick is constantly telling me how to English. Being the guy from Denmark, he's telling me how to English. And now,
I'm not the one that's typing out Menard as mermaid.
And then
hello. Okay.
See, you got it wrong. Hello.
Yeah, it's not habo.
I know what hello is, but you didn't say it correctly.
So, Rick, you need to work a little bit more on becoming a Pinoy.
Yes, you do. You do.
Or do I? Do I really want to? I mean,
well, it sounds like you're trying.
Now, actually, I was going to learn some cuss words to use here to put yell off, but I don't want to. I'll be nice.
Yes, that would be wise. That would be wise.
I wanted to say like words like penis and stuff like that. But we all know that penis isn't a cuss word, so I can say penis. No, I'll stop now.
Maybe not sound like you're fixated on it. Just saying.
Oh yeah, maybe a good idea. It's just funny to say because even though it's such a for me at least such a not even a bad word. Jared's reaction every time I say it is just like I said the F-bomb out loud.
Yeah, I guess so. But
that's because he's so sweet and innocent-minded. And I'm ruining him. And I'm ruining him every time I come on here.
Yeah, we were talking about Poodle Man. Let's stick to this.
Oh yeah, that's how it started.
Yes, let's talk about Poodle Man.
So how did he get his powers? Was he born with them, or is that something you won't tell because we have to read it?
His superpower and his beautiful bike.
Yes.
And his savage, really savage.
But
superpower, invulnerability.
Oh, so a little like Lobo.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a joke with Lobo from the sea.
So was he born? Was he born with the powers, or did he get them?
Yes, he was born with these powers.
Okay, so it wasn't like Maybelline. He was born with it.
So
yes.
It sounds like he's the only mutant on the planet Poodle.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, yeah, that's some fancy. That's some fancy ass glasses he got on.
Yeah, I like the fancy glasses.
So Brian, is Poodleman gonna be part of the Dojo-kun, or is that Zilson's own?
You know what? It's Zilson's own right now, and but we talked briefly in our pre-show meeting that maybe Dojo-kun Comics might have a future for Poodleman.
I think so. I think so.
I
Will
do
be great.
I do believe if you take it in, it will catch some attention for sure, because it's just an amazing overall character idea.
And we also talked about a crossover because, after all, I've got the Doberman gang. Poodleman could team up with them, maybe fight Siamese. I don't know. We'll see.
I think
Yup.
I think it's the story is already being minted right now. We're already coming up with what it's gonna be about.
And you heard it all here first, folks, on Comics.
It will be great.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah, for sure. 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, guys.
I think Zilson already said that he actually has a friend who's already translating it. Right? Is that correct? Zilson, you want to talk a little bit
What?
about? You have a friend who's going to translate the comic from Portuguese to English.
Yes. My friend Andrew Cummings. He's American and lives in Brazil. He can to make this translation and adaptation to English. In fact, we did this from my older comic, Evil Machines,
Oh, he did it for that one too?
for Evil Machines.
Okay.
Nice. So
This is a comic from I made to sell with the CDs of my band, my heavy metal band.
Ooh, nice. Oh yeah, you
A
were in a
comic
heavy
book.
metal band.
Yes.
I completely forgot that. I'm a huge fan of heavy metal music, so when I heard that on the last show, I was like, yeah, I need to find out where to listen to you, but I forgot completely. Like,
Yeah, so
Really good.
so you need to. So if you got any YouTube videos of your music, you need to link me, man. When we're done here, you need to send me some links.
Yes. My band is Evil Machines, just like this, on YouTube.
It's so funny to hear that from Zilson. The name of his band is Evil Machines. It's like,
Yeah.
Okay,
so Gerald, you were saying that that Zilson and I have a great rapport because we have so much in common. And there's yet another thing we have in common. I was in a band called Crosscheck for years as the lead singer.
that's right.
Yes.
cross check, is that a pun of your auditor of your auditor?
No, actually, it's sort of a reference to hockey because I come from Hockey Town, Detroit.
Mhm.
Oh, Detroit is a rock city.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Roy Mercado just brought up a nice idea. You all know Marius works alongside Justin Acosta on Ballbane.
Mhm.
Imagine Poodleman versus Ballbane.
Ooh.
Oh, that would be a good crossover.
Yes. Great idea.
But hey, Roy, don't send him off to Justin's company.
And you know what?
Although Poda Comics is awesome too.
Well, yeah, they're. Oh, and you know what? This would be a good just mention about. We talked about it during the anniversary show, but Brian, along with Justin Acosta and David Whalen, they're going to be putting together a show for Comics Cast as well, and it's going to be. I think the name is to be determined. I don't know if it's going to stick, but I think it's tentatively going to be called like Writer's Block or.
Well, you stole that from my show.
Yeah. And I think we came up with that one for you, right? I don't know who came up with that.
Joe came up with it.
Joe came up with it. Okay, and that, or it's going to be called Brainstorm. So maybe we can put that in the chat.
Well, if it's called Brainstorm, you shouldn't be involved.
Okay.
I mean,
wow.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
keep on coming from Rick. Yeah.
You can be the storm word. You can be the storm side of that word because when you speak, it's like a storm incoming.
Okay, gotcha. Good one.
Anyways, time is up in less than 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. But as I was saying, is that Brian is part of a trio, and that's David Whalen and Justin Acosta, and they're going to be debuting a show. We haven't figured out the exact date, but it's going to be a killer show. It's going to be awesome because I don't see any type of shows that are out there right now on the indie comics community that talk about the writing side of it. And we got to hear a little bit about Brian's writing style, about how he talks to Zilson and how they come up with those great panels that we showed earlier. So I really think that would be something that I want everybody to take notice of, because you're going to be able to see how Brian scripts things. And he's one of 3 different writing styles. We're going to have 3 different writers, and they're going to talk about their own unique approaches to doing writing and how they work with their artists. And there's going to be a really unique way about what kind of characters that we're going to be talking about. And I won't spill the beans in terms of how we're going to do that, but it's going to be really, really, really cool. Brian, I don't know. You want to talk a little bit about that? You want to share a little bit about your show?
Yeah, sure. So the first episode is going to be all 3 of us, and we're going to be talking about the setup, the methodology for it, and how we're going to select what stories we write. So again, I won't spoil those beans, but we each have our own individual writing style, which I think is going to be kind of cool to juxtapose against one another. Justin Acosta revealed that his writing style is mostly prose writing. So he relies heavily on his artist to take the prose and turn it into a comic book script. David is the writer / artist / letterer, and I guess sometimes even colorist too. He's the one-man shop there. And in his credit, when he has an idea, he starts with storyboards. He doesn't even he starts right off with the art, because that's one of his strengths. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I read it as if it's a script for either a television show, a movie, or a play. So it's cool that we all have our own unique approach to writing scripts, and you'll have the opportunity to see that individually on the subsequent episodes. So after the first one, where all 3 of us are there, we'll then take turns hosting the show, or being on the show. Gerald's going to host them, and whether we have a protege writer or if it's Gerald talking with us about our styles, we will go through and script a story right there on the show.
Yeah, it's
I see here in the comments as well, as Roy is really excited about it, because as he says, there's too little to absolutely almost no content about writing content on YouTube, writing comics on YouTube, and I completely agree with it. It's something that's well needed, but people tend to forget is important, because it's not part of what they see when they open a comic. After all, they see the art and focus on that.
Yeah, the artists are like the guitarists in the rock band. Everybody loves the artist. And we have this thing in the comic book community where we joke #JustAWriter, because the writer is the background. Maybe he's the drummer, maybe he's even the rhythm guitarist or the bass, fourth string. But without the idea to begin with, the artist wouldn't have some, unless they are also the artist. They don't have the concept to put to page. So speaking just sort of selfishly, the writer's pretty important too.
Don't be selfish. That is so true.
Time is up, guys.
Oh yeah, let's have a look.
I was about to tell Gerald when he asked you that really complex question, Brian. That's typical Gerald to ask you really complex questions just before he knows time is up, so he can get a little more time.
Rick knows my secret now. Rick knows my secret.
So let's start out with
oh my
Zilson.
gosh! Look at Zilson. Oh.
He's ready to crack some heads, that guy.
Yeah, that looks phenomenal. That looks killer in the truest sense. Killer poodle.
He's screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this one, I really love this one as well.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So badass, and you make sure that you can see it's a fancy poodle. It's a gay ass poodle, but in awesome clothing.
Yes. Okay, I will take that as a compliment, Rick.
That's perfect.
Perfect description, right, Zilson?
So,
perfect.
Zilson, this is for you. I would only draw badass poodles if because of you. I love the character. When you told me yesterday about Poodle Man, I was just like that. One, I was thinking that's an awesome concept, and I was thinking Rick is gonna eat this up because he's
I'm gonna love it.
he's a Lobo.
I love it. I need the
Yeah.
I need the comic as soon as it's translated.
Right.
Man,
So
this will be a pin-up on the comic.
oh,
Ooh,
great,
nice.
great.
This one.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
this
Gerald's?
looks
Gerald's?
killer.
Zilson, do you mean Gerald's version?
What?
Are you saying that you're going to put Gerald's version in the comic?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
Yeah.
thank you.
I
Right
love
on.
it.
Really good. We got some stuff on the art show as well. Brian, will you stop? Brian, what are you doing? That was really noisy.
Sorry.
He was unwrapping Christmas gifts. That's what he was
You
doing.
can eat your Snickers later, Brian.
Well, they quit talking about him.
From Victor Rufino, and I
Oh,
really like
beautiful.
that. We
Oh, nice.
talk about Lobo, and Vic had to put him and beating Lobo up. Perfect.
Yes, that is brilliant. Victor, awesome stuff. This is just
Love
great.
it.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Let me just update. And
Oh,
Ricardo.
it's like I'm doing the flex. Yeah.
I love that he's got a white beater on too.
Yes. And
Start
this-
And,
hitting
the hair.
Yeah, the
yes,
hair is fancy as well.
yes. Oh,
Look at his hair.
Yeah, I
yeah.
love his hair so much.
This is Roy again. Roy does few lines and he makes such a
Yes.
And Sarah Simper.
Sarah.
Sarah, beautiful.
Yeah, she writes it herself, but it ended up having a Johnny Bravo feel
Yeah.
because of the glasses, and I absolutely love it.
Yes, this is so
And
good. So
She
good.
she made the glasses.
He's so cute.
Yeah, I like it.
Very, very good. Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, we got some late entrance from one of the from the other stuff from Brian Acosta,
Brian. Yeah, Brian.
the dog auditor.
Yes, the dog auditor. Good work, Brian.
Oh, we've seen this is
Great.
Brian Menard.
Yeah.
Superman.
I hadn't seen this. This looks great, Brian.
Yeah, no, of course
Mermaid.
you haven't seen it because I'm showing it right now.
Great.
This is his artist name, Brian Mermaid. I think we coined it today. Brian.
No, that's you.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. We're gonna get sued by the auditor.
Yeah.
This is also Brian Acosta with his Siamese
Good job.
on the prowl. Let's see here if I get any more. Scroll.
Yeah.
No, I think that's
No more.
it for now.
Oh man, I was really hoping that we would see Joy Enriquez do something because we made the mistake.
I think she's asleep.
Yes, well, Roy and Victor Rufino
We talked to her earlier today, and she was at least very busy.
Yeah, she did a really fantastic art piece last show that we didn't receive until late. So I wanted to basically showcase her if she was there. But you know what? We got some fantastic audience participation here. Thank you to all of you guys and girls. Thank you so much for doing that because it's not. I think both Brian and Zilson. It's always, isn't it such a feeling to have somebody draw your original characters? I mean, that's gotta be.
It's very cool to see that. Yeah, I love everybody's different style and takes on it, and the fact that they like the character enough to give it a shot is rewarding.
Yeah, it's inspirational. You guys inspire us. And speaking of further inspiration, this is where we.
Carol.
I didn't say Rick. You didn't let me finish my thought here. But I was going to say that Rick is inspirational. I think I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. But I want to talk about Brian. You've done this so many times. You could do it in your sleep. I know because you've done 50 plus shows. I would love for you to share your. Normally I would share the if our guests have a crowdfunding page, I would do it. But I think that you've got it so polished, so down to an art. I think it'd be great for you to share the Indiegogo page. And I would love for you to kind of talk about, the stretch goals, it being completely funded, the fact that you got like, let's look at the number of backers that you got. I would love to hear your take on it. So please grace us with your description of like how this came to be.
Okay, did you bring it up on the screen?
It's up on the screen. Yeah, it's full.
Okay, thank you.
There.
Okay.
I remembered to share audio, so what I'd like to start off with, it's not too long, is my trailer, if you don't mind. I had it professionally done.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Please full screen it.
Oh yeah, I'm good at this, Rick.
Okay, good.
From Dojo-kun Comics comes Siamese, the story of two Chinese-American college graduates whose deviation gene make them extraordinary enough to become superheroines. This trade paperback combines the 4-issue Siamese miniseries previously published by Dojo-kun Comics. As our ladies discover their newfound power, we'll be introduced to other Dojo-kun Comics characters such as the Countryman, Breathtaker, Brickhouse, the Scarlet Archer, and Psionica. Dojo-kun Comics has released over a dozen comics so far. You can pledge with confidence knowing that obligations will be fulfilled. Superheroes are coming back. Don't miss out on Siamese.
Hey!
Oh wow! I just gotta say that is so pro. I was like jamming to that Asian theme. I was like,
Was that your voice, Brian? Did you make a movie voice guy?
No, even though I was a disc jockey, I had that done by a guy named Red Gaze, who's in the indie comics community, and he does a lot of such trailers. As a quick shout out, K Manifesto, one of the guys in the community, and I have our own show starting every Thursday night at 8 o'clock. And one of our upcoming shows will feature several professional trailer creators who do things like you just saw by Red Gaze.
that is
Nice.
so good, so good. If anybody saw that video, they were probably like, if they were on the fence, they were like, I don't know if I should back this, and they hit play. It's like, yes, where do I want to send my money. Where can I send my money? But Brian, go ahead and just walk us through this page.
Okay, so I'm going to start off on the left column. We have unlocked the first stretch goal, which was at $5,000, but we'll talk about stretch goals in a bit. Let's first have a look at the campaign. Sample interior art, we've sort of touched on this quite a bit already, but here's the first page of the first book by Mike Salter. Here he is revealing some of the supervillains that their backstory will be followed in the trade paperback. Here are the girls encountering the Transportation Security Authority, the TSA. Here's Zilson. Here's a page by Zilson where they encounter the supervillain called Rain. Rain seems like a pretty simplistic name for a supervillain whose powers are weather-based, but honestly, it's an homage to the Beatles. That was a B-side to one of their singles.
Ah, brilliant. Nice.
Then here they are in their werecat form. And you see the words on it now. It says, "Look, sister, more meat." So for the perks, we've got a digital tier for those folks who are overseas and don't want to pay for shipping. We've got some fans in Australia and Europe that want to have an opportunity to read it. So I've got a digital tier. The art there is by Gilbert Monsanto from the Philippines. I'm going to skip this one real quick to get to the regular cover. That's this one here. The trade paperback, like I said, is over 100 pages, and it comes in at $35 US. And then we've got a group of variant covers. This one here by Arias Hernandez, which I mentioned a little while ago. He's the former Disney animator, so I asked him to do a variant for me. I'm working with Isaiah Xavier Bradley on a science fiction Western, and I asked him to do a variant for me.
Oh, that looks so good.
Bruno Hitano is another one that's working with me on, I know you want to keep this an adult-themed show, so I'll just be vague and say that he's working on a book with me that, if you remember the Marvel swimsuit issues from the 80s and 90s, he's working with me on one that is just like that, but without the swimsuits.
Okay, there we
So
go.
I'll move on.
I'm already excited.
Yeah, Rick is like, hit us up for that one. Zilson did this one, and I got to stop here and say what's great about this one, and he demonstrated it on the interior pages, and that is that he took the frame and put it at a diagonal, which really gave it a dynamic feel, and then, of course, all the characters are leaping forward at you. I think this is a really exciting and dynamic cover by Zilson.
Agreed. Good job.
And then the last variant, this one here is the hardcover variant. It's a limited edition by the Barton brothers. These guys are brothers from Australia who are really up and coming. They're really establishing themselves in the comic community as great cover artists. And of course, they have their own comics too.
Corey's amazing. I've known both Bartons for like the last 7 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah. They're great guys. I love their shows. Clayton comes across so chill and quiet. He sounds like a therapist sometimes, but I love to watch his show. And if you'll permit, I'm going to go real zoom up to the top here. And the reason I do that is the Barton Brothers hardcover is the featured tier. And you'll notice that I said there are 50 available. 32 of them have sold. But if you look at the text here, it says only 99 are available. How could there be 99 if there are 50? Well, the top tier, which we'll get into detail in a minute, includes 50 more of them. So that's where the other 50 are available.
Gotcha.
So let's jump down here now. So in addition to those tiers, there's another tier on which you'll get the regular cover trade paperback plus a 12 by 18 aluminum print of the cover to number 4. This cover here is by The Art of Puro. That's the married couple in Italy I talked about, where the line art is by the husband, Andrea, and his wife, Monica, does the colors.
Beautiful.
It's a virgin version, so there's no cover dressing, no logo, no price or anything like that. So it's just going to be the picture.
Oh, that's what virgin means.
Yeah.
No, I've always wondered when it's been used in comics what it means.
Okay. And then this one here is the Ultimate Siamese Kitty Box. So in this one here, you get all 6 versions of the trade paperback with their variant covers. You get the chibi stickers, the poker chip, the canvas print, the keychain, and 1 copy of all 12 of the books that Dojo-kun has previously published. So our entire back catalog. That's 18 comics in this tier.
Wow.
I indicate
for only 300 and plus shipping, right?
Right. So
that's wow.
I'm going to include that in a slipcase, but honestly, all 6 of these are over 100 pages. This one's over 100 pages, and this one's over 100 pages. I think it's not going to fit in 1 slipcase. I'm going to have to send it in 2.
Two. Yes.
That's a really great price.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Several people have availed themselves of this option. There's still quite a few available. Let me see where, right here. Okay, so 5 of them. So there's still 45 of those available.
Man.
Go get them. Roy, get on it.
And then here's another tier. It's a new perk that was added recently. And this one here features art by Zilson, our artist here on the show. This is a huge crossover cheesecake print, I call it, because it includes some of the sexiest characters from a number of different creators. 8 different creators with 13 different characters here. This is Mother from Global Frequency Studios. This is the foot of the mech that she drives. Genuine Comics offered to allow American Bliss, Perfect 10, and Snow Fox to be on it. Matthew Fowler allowed his character Dixie Rose. Here's Breathtaker and Siamese from Dojo-kun Comics. The Boss is from Kimosabi and the Brain Cage Studios comic called The Companymen. Neon and Rebel are both from Clint Helinski's codename Killswitch. Hip Turan is from Joe Catapano's book called Star Circuit. And then lastly is Angel from David Dominguez, known as Black Rose Comics, his comic book Cerebrum. So it's a jam piece, all drawn by Zilson, colored by an artist in Russia called Irina, and lettered by her husband. He put in all the names for me. So it's this print, by the way, is going to be on metal by Phoenix Animation. So it's comic book size, so it's going to be a great print. He's in the process of putting one together for me right now, so we can show it on my website and give people the example of what it'll look like printed on aluminum.
That is
spectacular. So quickly, Zilson, we had to change your cameras around. So if you could unmute the new camera you're on, because your other camera froze. So feel free to unmute yourself on this that you just left. No. Okay. You're not. There we go. You're not frozen on this one anymore. Good.
Okay, great.
Okay, great.
Okay.
So now I'm going to jump down to the add-ons. And there's not a whole lot to describe here, but just to let you know what's available, there's a patch. And this will be the art featured on the patch. It's going to be embroidered. There's chibi stickers by Alex Thompson, which I think... What's that?
Oh, just saying chibi. There you go.
Yeah, these are all the characters that are introduced in the Siamese, well, all the superheroes introduced in the Siamese miniseries and in the trade paperback. So you've got Breathtaker, Scarlet Archer, Siamese, Brick House, Psionica, and Countryman.
I knew Breathtaker was female for some reason.
Yeah. There is an available poker chip if you want to add that on. This is a metal keychain with enamel. So not rubber or plastic, but metal. Though that makes a difference to some people. This canvas print is by the co-creator of Siamese, named Sai Lim from New Zealand. And this poster here is by Pust, and it's going to be comic book sized. This is Deanna Hammer of the Angels, and obviously Siamese is helping her with her modesty.
That's nice. That's nice of them.
Yeah, strategically placed tails. Yes.
Right. For the stretch goals, the first one was set at $5,000, and we unlocked it. Yay. So everybody who backs the physical copies will get 4 6x9 prints of the original covers. However, I should point out that Scarlet Archer will be appearing in this one rather than that one guest star. So it'll be the 6x9 prints of those that will appear in the trade paperback. The next set. The stretch goal is set for $6,000, and it'll be 6x9 prints of all 6 of the trade paperback covers. We've yet to determine the dollar amount on this stretch goal, but this is the challenge coin stretch goal. The challenge coin has a rich military history that then was expanded to like first responders and then to companies who are honoring people or their products. I won't take the time to describe what that history is, but if you look it up on Google and look at the history of the challenge coin, I found it very fascinating. So I wanted to include that as one of the stretch goals on my campaign.
Very cool. Very cool.
And then the last stretch goal for now is, it's a lofty one. These are fully articulated 8-inch action figures that, I talked to the company. The cost to have them designed and molded is between $7,000 and $10,000. Then there's a 2,000 figure minimum first order. So it's very pricey. And so this stretch goal is going to be pretty high, but they said the 2,000, they would permit me to have 1,000 of them with a white tail and 1,000 of them with a black tail. So I don't have to order, 4,000 to begin with. So I thought that was kind of nice of them. What I plan to do is if we get to this, it'll be both characters, both girls in a blister pack on a card. So those are the stretch goals. And, looking at the campaign, we stand at 78 backers. We're at 5,351. So I consider that a success for a first Indiegogo campaign. There's just 11 days left, though. So for those of you who have FOMO, the fear of missing out, this is your opportunity to get in there and take a look at this. And Zilson's fantastic artwork. Hope you like the writing. The colors are vivid and vibrant. it'll be the jumping on point for the connected superhero universe, because as I mentioned, this then goes into the next miniseries. So still a lot coming from Dojo Kun Comics. The miniseries that follows is Deanna, Hammer of the Angels. This is Deanna right here. Issue number 1 is almost complete. And then after that, we go into Trident's New Alliance, which is the whole team book, including Siamese, Deanna, Psionica, Brickhouse. Scarlet Archer joins after a few issues, but you get the idea. So that's written in advance. Here's a look at the 12 books that come with the kitty box. So the first 4 issues of Siamese, Toro Tales, Night Miss and the Scarlet Archer, Alliances, the annual compendium, The Loved Ones, Mad King, and I Am Become Death.
Wow.
Nice.
Did you even inhale? Because I think you were you were just
Take a breeze, Brian. You're not
Yeah.
Carol.
so professional. So professional. You nailed it. I was just like, sign me up, man. And I know that Rick was thinking, where's the litter box option? He was thinking like litter box. Oh, kitten
What?
box. Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
What?
kitty box.
yes.
I didn't want people to associate it with feces.
I was just joking around because
Like Carol tells me that I was saying shit and not shit.
oh, here we go. Here we go. I said shed. Anyway,
So,
yeah.
Rick, to your point, this is Breathtaker right here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Quite breathtaking.
Right. She is the host of the ongoing series called Alliances, which is my homage to like Brave and the Bold or Marvel 2-in-1, where
Yeah.
one character is in each issue and then they've got a rotating guest. So she'll be in Alliances each issue.
Shoot. This is great. And I just want everybody to know that if you look at the bottom of the scrolling ticker, that's how you can get to the Indiegogo page. We only have less, you said, was it 11 days or 12 days?
11 days remaining. Yep.
11 days remaining. So you can also just do a Google search, go to, type in Indiegogo Siamese, and it'll be the first thing that pops up. But you can look at that short URL there at the bottom. I think Rick and I are going to post that in the comments section, so that way you can copy and paste it directly in there. But yes, you can see that there's something in there for anybody, everyone that wants to help support Dojo Kun Comics, Zilson and Brian with Siamese. Tremendous list of swag. You can show your support with a keychain or a metal print or chibi stickers, you name it. There's something for everybody. So, Brian, did you have anything else you want to talk about? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, this is a mini version of the cover that will be a 12 by 18. This is just a 4 by 6 print, but it shows you how it looks on the metal.
Shiny. So shiny.
Yeah. It's very cool. Okay, I'll stop the shilling portion and come back to StreamYard.
You could totally shill. This is about you and Zilson and Siamese. So you made our job easy.
Oh.
Yeah. So Rick, do you have anything else you want to add in there before we get to the Oscar speeches?
Brian, it's always great having you here. You're always a ton of fun, and you make our work so much easier, because even though Joe loves to speak, we don't have to, because you come prepared, and you're our kind of guy for coming in here and just having fun with us. So
Great, thank you.
Always a pleasure, and you're welcome anytime.
Okay.
Same with you, Zilson. I love your art. I just absolutely in love with your art. I'm so happy that I got to be a co-host this time, because Joe stole the last round. So I'm happy that I'm here now to see you both, see your work, and just being off of your work. Big fan.
Well, in
Thank you very much.
Yeah, in Joe's defense, I think Rick was too good for Comics Cast, and he decided to take a little break from us, and that's the reason why he wasn't there on that show. But
okay.
No, you forgot. I was too great for you.
Oh, that's what it was. Anyway, I think this is a perfect segue into our. We're going to wind it down here, and we're going to do the Oscar speech, where you guys give your final thoughts. So I know that'll give you a chance to catch your breath, Brian. But I'd love for you to hear whatever your final thoughts are, and the mic is now in your hands.
Okay, thank you. So, yes, Siamese is it's a labor of love. This is my passion, writing and producing comic books. I've been in this for about 6 years, and I'm going to be in it for the long haul. Like I said, I've got scripts written for the next 7 or 8 years. So there's a lot more to come from Dojo Kun Comics, including a trading card set, a trilogy of novels that I'll be adapting into comic book graphic novel form. Zilson is the artist on that too, so you'll see more of his work. In fact, I hope to work with Zilson for a long time in the future. He's great to work with, and great at I'm glad you like the idea too. There's so much still coming from Dojo Kun Comics. I hope you give us a chance and jump in on the connected superhero universe with the trade paperback Siamese.
Awesome. That sounds great. All right, so
and I just linked Zilson's band here as well for everybody who wants to go check.
Oh, the Even Machines, yeah. Rock on.
I know I'm going to.
Yeah. So before we get Zilson on there to give his Oscar speech, I changed it at the bottom. This is how you can.
I was just 1 millisecond away from doing it, and as soon as I clicked it, I was like, wait, no, that's.
You did it with your mind, Rick. You're that good. You were using ESP. But Victor Rufino coming in here with congratulations, Brian.
Thank you, Victor.
Very inspiring. You guys rock. So
Thank you, Victor.
Yeah, so just check it out at the bottom. This is how you can follow and like and see whatever new things or old things that both Brian and Zilson are doing. We're gonna put the full list of links that you can contact them in the comments section. So look for that as well. But Zilson, go ahead and give us your Oscar speech. So it's the mic is all yours.
Man, I want to thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to be here again. And you are so great. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Gerald. And hope to be here again in the future soon. Thank you very much.
Well, as soon as you got Poodleman to show us, we'll have you in.
Oh yes, Poodleman.
Yes.
We would be honored to be the first show that you want to debut, Poodleman. We'll get Brian to come along too, so he can kind of he can give his thoughts on it. He can be the honorary third host because I know that he's going to be excited. And who knows?
Or Gerald, you take the week off, and me and Brian will do it.
So he's telling me to leave. It's like, Gerald, you can go. I don't need you. I don't need you at all. I need Brian.
Finally, my overtaking is coming.
It's like that's his evil thing. But yes, I am so happy that both of you guys were on the show. It was a treat to have you come back here, and the doors is completely wide open when you're ready to talk about anything that is Dojo Kun, that is Plant Man, not Plantain Man. So where it's Nature Man or of course Poodle Man, because Poodle Man's going to be a hit. I can tell that already. You guys are welcome here anytime, and it would be our pleasure. And of course, Rick is just finding ways. He's plotting to get rid of me some way. So when that happens, it might just be the Brian and Rick show, and Gerald will be somewhere.
The Rick and Mermaid show.
Rick the Mermaid. How about that one? But yes. So as we get to the point, this is I'm getting teary-eyed now because I'm going to have to say goodbye. But we close the show talking about one thing. So if my famous, super helpful co-host wants to change.
I always did that.
He did it. So he gotten ahead of me, and I'm just going to go ahead and do this right now. And yes, this is going to be on a more serious note. Actually, how come it's not showing up? There it is. Yeah, Rick. Thank you so much, Rick. This is our charity partner, Gold in Fight. And you can see the URL at the bottom, the scrolling ticker. You can go check them out at goldinfight.org. They are an organization that I like to say that they are big enough and small enough at the same time. Small enough in the sense that they are not overextending themselves. They have a very focused approach here in the United States. It focuses in the mid-Atlantic region. That's my neck of the woods, Virginia, Maryland, DC. And but they have big hearts. That's where they're huge. They're big, is that they can say that, actually their mission is to help families that are who have children who are dealing with really difficult illnesses, cancer, for example. And when they are focusing on the healing of that child, getting treatment for them, inevitably those families will incur financial, distress. And that's where Golden Fight comes in. That's where they are super huge. They can boast that 98% of the money that they raise goes to the family. That nominal 2 or 3% that they raise, that goes to just administrative things. A lot of their leadership does everything voluntarily. They do it out of the kindness of their hearts because they've had family members or friends that have been have gone through these type of circumstances. So that's what Golden Fight is all about. So we are not financially tied to them in any way, shape, or form. We are the founders are really good friends of Joe Tolliver, and they become good friends of me and Rick. We are just so happy if in any shape or form that we can promote them and get eyes on them. It would be our pleasure to do that. You don't need to support them. If you do have a charity that you would like to, we would greatly appreciate that. You can check out their mission, their cause, and the people that they've helped by going to this website and checking it out. So again, that's goldenfight.org. Let me close this out. Or if Rick wants to remove it. There we go. All right. So one last time, you can see here at the bottom, this is how you can get in touch with both Brian and Zilson. We will put in the comments section more ways to get in touch with them. And
I already did.
Oh, you did. Rick is just on game today. He's brought his A game.
Also today.
Yes, exactly. All day, every day. And here we got. This is the way you can also, this is the way, that's very Mandalorian. This is the way that you can support Siamese. We got 11 days to go. I would love to say that by the time this campaign is done, they have 100 unique backers. And that kitten box, I know it's so exciting. Everybody wants to get the kitten box. You got to do that. You got to support, get to see great comics that are from Dojo-kun. It goes beyond Siamese. You get to see the whole package. There's lots of great titles, and they're all indie created. That's the beauty of it. Indie created content. So that being said, this is where you got to go. You got to go check out Comics Cast. You got to check out Indie Comics Cast on YouTube, and you got to check out our guest work. Go support Siamese. Rick, take us out.
Hail.
Okay, I forgot that part. Damn it.
Oh.
Yeah.
God.